You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Yo, what's good, mi familia? It's your boy Al Mega, the Cape Commander of the Comic Crusaders Podcast, baby. We're coming at you live with a special edition that's about to blow the panels off of your mind. That's right. Today we're shining the spotlight on some of the dopest, the freshest, and the most fearless Black comic creators tearing up the independent scene, baby. That's right. We got Danny Craig breaking out of prison with Aceblade. Lloyd and Tasha Jones dropping some midnight magic, baby. We got Quintin Dorsey riding deep with some nights of the abyss. And we got E.A. Brown slicing through with some Deathblade. But guess what? We can't talk about all of this without my co-host, my boy, the legend. You know what I mean? He's been a guest, but now my man is the wingman, the one, the only big boss himself. I mean, he got some sweet shit out there, and I'm talking that's about Sweet Pea, the one, the only, the big boss, Ali. Yeah, baby, how you doing?
My man, Al, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. We're about to rock out, man, because man, you presented me this idea, so let's talk about some awesome creators out there, Black creators. Now, when you told me Black creators, I said, oh shit, I'm about to take the deep ass dive. So you sent me a whole bunch of indie stuff, and I said, you know what, I'm also gonna look some old school stuff, because I mean, these amazing independent creators that are creating nowadays, I don't think they could exist. That's some of the people we're going to mention a little bit later on. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I mean, not just them, but maybe all of us that are trying to build our pathways and trailblaze through this amazing industry that is comic books, right?
Yep, it's a deep history, man, and having a Black presence inside it just helps it grow. You get to see new experiences and points of views, different stories from different perspectives, man. It all just comes together and creates something magical. So let's shine a light.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man, to see. Because when you presented me the idea, I started taking a deep dive. And, you know, again, I've always known about our struggles, you know, as people of color to break into just about a lot of things in this country. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And, you know, I ain't going to bitch about I ain't no victim. You know what I mean? I'm a trailblazer and I'm fighting against everything and going against all odds. And I will persevere. That's what I'm here for. Fuck that. You know, I ain't a victim. I'm a maker. And to see other makers like these cats that we're going to talk about in a while, it's like, wow, yo. In times that, I mean, we complain now. Man, we got it easy. We really do. You know, these folks open these doors for us. These are the people that truly struggled in the journey. And just to be able to tell a story about who we are. You feel me?
Yeah, bravery of those people, man. Some of those people was fearless, man. That we're going to talk about later. Just the time and the climate that they were operating in and the things that was happening. I was watching Eyes on the Prize last night on HBO, man, and it's something I think I'm going to have to start making a family tradition every year just to remember where we came from and what we've been through. But some of those people really had to, you know, put some armor on and go out there into the world to make some things happen. And they did that. And it deserves to be remembered.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, armor shit. There's like some that on that vibranium shit type of armor. I mean, they had to hold on. You know, I mean, shit. Wakanda was real at that time. The type of armor they had to fucking wear. Yeah, but thanks for the journey. But before we celebrate those that came before, I want to do a little backwards. You know what I mean? Let's talk about some stuff that's out. I mean, folks that are just kicking ass right now and changing the game. So again, you know, my man over here came up and said, "Yo, Al, you gotta check out these cats right here." And I mentioned some of the names in the intro, right? So one of these cats right here is the one and only, and I love the name because it's not like the only biggest DJ name I've ever heard in my life, Danny J Quick, DJ Quick, right? Dope Kickstarter project, man. It's called Aceblade, baby. Prison Escape. Yeah, Alim, you gotta start talking about it. Let me bring this baby up right here. I mean, that's right. We're celebrating black comic book creators today, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. February 2025. You better recognize, baby. So check out this joint right here. Ooh, Aceblade.
Yep.
Man, yeah, that
I
artist.
can't wait to add it to my collection, man. You know?
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't even play.
Yes, sir. He's all signed too, man. I met Danny down at the Atlantic Comic Con. It's a guy, Darren Flood. It's a new comic book convention, and I got to meet him down there and a couple of other great people. So that was a really fun experience, and that's something I think should be on people's radar. But Danny, man, I knew him from TikTok before we even got to meet each other, and he has such a presence on there that I really admire the way that he runs his business and his company. It's warm and it's inviting to the point where I didn't really get to spend too much time with him, but it's another guy I think that works in his local comic book shop down there that Danny actually, I think he runs it himself or owns it. But when I was meeting and talking with these guys, it just felt like it was somebody that I had already known because of the presence that they present on that TikTok. So that's something that people should definitely check out, his channel, and absolutely this Kickstarter too. Aceblade is no joke. It's something you don't want to miss.
It's right there. Aceblade. You see that link below? So from what I understand, prison escape plot means a hero, Aceblade, high stakes action and redemption. I mean, you agree with those terms right there?
Yeah.
I mean, it does look though. I mean, look how this character looks. Look at that cover, man. I mean, it almost looks like Purple Rain, just that they just added someone else.
Yeah, it got some style to it, right?
Man, where the dogs at, bro? Are they crying?
Let's see. He gave me said Aceblade is a vigilante superhero comic book about a man who believes he's the best fighter in the world and has to prove it in a city of supervillains where everything can be bet on. So,
oh shit, but everything could be bet on. I mean, but I love the outfit, man. I love that purple. That's Decepticons, man. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, from Sweet Pea, purple my favorite color too. So,
shit.
I was all in when I saw Aceblade.
Motherfucker got us on colors alone, bro. I love it. I love it. I mean, look at that. I mean, we got these covers, man. We got amazing artists. This project is live right now for you. Check out that Kickstarter project. Danny J. Quick. That is Aceblade, numero 9, mi gente, number 9. That prison escape right there. Again, come on. With a cover like that, how could you not want to invest and be curious? Come on.
You think we got a second to click in and take a look at the page? Because I think you got some good news from recent recent posts.
Don't shit. Who are you asking? Oh my God. Hold on. Let me make sure I open that and separate things over here. I got so many windows open. You're coming mil ventanas.
Yeah. Oh, while we doing that, just let me say to the people watching, this was just a spur of the moment thing. I thought of this maybe like 3 or 4 days ago while I was sitting on the porch and asked Al if he would be interested in doing something before the end of Black History Month. And like that, he put this whole thing together. So if you saw me on Facebook saying that Al really will stop and put everything in for us, I meant it. And this is proof of that.
I appreciate it. And look at that right there, baby. Aceblade. I mean, look, my man look like snake, a sleeveless snake eyes.
See an echo in there, yep.
I feel it, I mean, and look at that. That already is a T-shirt right there. I love the use of the ace.
I think it might be some T-shirts inside of the tiers. Danny don't play, man. This thing is really well put together, and
I love it.
Yep.
And look at this team. It's an all-black creative team. Danny Quick, William Withers, Brian Lambert, Mario Burton, and Kyron Silva.
Yep.
Yeah. Look at this. Look. Oh man, look at these covers though. Sick, son. Yeah, you got the legend. Oh, I can't believe that. We're gonna be talking about the legend there later. Larry Stroman, My man Fish Lee, oh shit, he did a cover. Awesome. Daniel, J. Hammond, check that out. Yo, crazy.
Right, absolutely, man. He has a great community that I think anybody who's happy to be a part of, to definitely check him out. And let me see. I think I got. If you look up, go ahead. My bad. What you say, bro?
I would say I don't just see Snake Eyes. I also see a Foot Soldier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of familiar designs in there, but it creates a very unique character and a great story.
He does. Oh man, look at that fucking cover, bro. What? Mm-hmm. That's some boss shit right there.
Man, he got a cover with Aceblade in front of a broken mirror that I think I would put that up against any cover ever in existence. That joint is amazing.
Oh, really? Oh, man, I gotta see. My man behind out around your way. Yo, what's going on here? We gotta see homie around all over. What's going on? This is dope.
Yeah, you gotta bring him on the show.
Well, listen, every independent creator is welcome onto this show. I mean, listen, I look, not for nothing, but people be looking for us, and I appreciate that for real, that support, and that you guys want to be on the program. You know what I mean? I can't be hunting all the time for creators. So, if you're out there, you just wave your hand like we're in school. Ooh, I'm here. All right, bet. Let's go. You next. You know what I mean?
Don't worry. I'll bring them out, man. we're gonna get a nice list today. Man. And make sure you check out the TikTok too. Aceblade Comics on TikTok.
Oh, I dig it. I mean, but
add that to the algorithm.
And let's talk about this though. This is crowdfunding. So this one right here, with 6 days to go, is funded. They were looking for 55, they have 56. So they over by 100. Congrats to you. Awesome 132 backers that support independent comics. I appreciate that. That's amazing. You know what? With 6 days to go, let's get homie over 6. Let's get homie over 7. Let's get him over 8, baby. Let's go. Support independent comics. I mean, this shit looks sexy, baby. Look at this motherfucker right there. What?
Yep.
If there's somebody you'd run from, you better support it.
I appreciate the work from anybody who takes time out of their life, because indie is it's not an easy thing to do, man. We got families and jobs and responsibilities, but we still make time to put these things together for you guys, and it's just great stories. It adds some variety to your life. I got my current Marvel runs and everything like that, but these indie books just give you something that you need. And this guy's like Danny out here that's putting together an immaculate presentation. So make sure you check them out.
Indie is the future. Indie is where it's at. Indie is what it is. And and those that just don't know, well, they don't know, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to learn. We're going to teach them, Al.
Yes, we are. We're teaching them. So this is lesson number 1. All right. So support Aceblade. All right. Again, you already saw the link. I have to show you one more time. It's right there, baby. Look at that. Bang. All right. One more time before we go, because we're going to move on. Because we got stuff to talk about today, baby. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, right? So then we got these Jones right here. Because, my man again, Alim, he don't play. And he goes, Al, you got to check these Jones out right here. This is what it is. This is the future. Comment. I say, Alim, what are you talking about?
This is the future, man.
He's just bringing about all this new good stuff out here. So I'm talking about this amazing creative team. I mean, this is every man's dream to have a partner in their life that want to do some shit. This is Lloyd and Tasha Jones. All right. It's this thing called Midnight Comics. So talk to me. Well, like what you gotta take the lead here, man. Present this to me.
No doubt. I met Lloyd and Tasha. Well, actually, Lloyd down
my man
at DreamCon. Yeah, support and show love, man. One of the titles right here from a recent Kickstarter. I met them down at DreamCon, and just it's certain people inside of this world that are just like, they make the world a better place where they go, and that's what I get from Lloyd and Tasha. Just the fact that they, working together as a family to create something, and which is Midnight Comics, and they have over 9 titles, I think, underneath of their publishing.
Yeah, we're gonna check out that Johns in a minute, but you definitely send me a couple of covers. I mean, look at these covers.
These are all different titles.
Yeah, man.
They do comic books and manga.
Ooh, I mean, for real, yo. And the wherever.
Not that. Here we go.
Look at we going there, bum, and guess what else we got? We got that website, man. I mean, they're doing their thing over here. Yeah. I mean, look, like you're saying, a lot of books. They got bundles. You know, I've seen in so many different places that they are murdering it. I mean, they got to make it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
husband and wife.
So
Atlanta's.
So how you think the book?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Atlanta's first what?
I believe. Let me get down into my notes here. They are Atlanta's first Black-owned, family-owned comic book company, I believe.
What?
Yeah.
Heard.
Yeah, it's in that combination of those.
And all these years, the first out of the ATL.
Yep. First husband and wife to do it. But their kids looking up to them, man. They just great people, and they deserve to be in front of the world. People should be checking out their stuff. So that's what the plan was, to give people, you know, a chance to be introduced to them.
I like it. So on the book that you got, how did you feel when you read it? I mean, in regard to the world building.
Oh man, they you know, some guys jump in and they just rush to the most exciting parts. Well, Lloyd and Tasha actually take their time and let you get to know the characters before you get to know the powers behind them, because that's like the most important part of the story. Spider-Man ain't nothing without Peter Parker. That's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it great. And Lloyd and Tasha understand that, and they bring that out inside of the work that they do.
Even the Ultimate Universe had to use Peter and kill him to bring Miles, you know?
Right. It's the person behind the mask, you know, and they understand that, and they do a good job presenting. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I'm digging it, man. Thanks for presenting this. I wasn't aware of this line, and you just see how vast it is. Like you're saying, it's a whole universe, and the power of indie, man. The way that the game has changed since I was a kid, at the very least, you know what I mean? Because you're a young man compared to me, and just to see that, come on, bro, stop it. You know, believe you me, man. I was in an era that you didn't see this type of diversity in lines, if you will, of comics. You know, it was far and few in between, and I didn't get diversity until, again, another legend we'll talk about later, and when Wayne Duffy came around and built what he built along with his people. You feel me? So I didn't get to see as much. So just to see that now, these kids are so privileged. This is privilege, man. You got this. I didn't have this.
The world has changed so much, man. Possibilities is just wide open for people to get out and be able to tell their stories. And I'm here for it all, man. I mean, it's nothing. I ain't got nothing against anything that came before. You know what I mean? I love Superman. I love Spider-Man, Green Lantern, Spawn, you know, everything from the mainstream that I grew up with. But you're right, it was a lack of variety. And when you have other people writing and telling stories, you get different perspectives. That's all you really need, some spice of life, you know, to switch it up a little bit.
The sazon, the adobo, baby, the curry, whatever you want, man, whatever you want to call it, man. You gotta throw that little flavor in there, man. Yeah. It wasn't fun, because then again, I didn't grow up with that. Not that I minded, and not that I even noticed, because again, I was reading good heroic stories and not judging anybody on the content of
beautiful
their
life lessons and all kinds of things inside of it, man.
That's all, just good stories. So again, something that I touched upon in my notes. I think you noticed I shared some of my thoughts. Like you know, you have all these amazing characters of color, but when you know who created them, they weren't people of color. You know,
right?
Wow, right?
And it's just missing something. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and these a little extra salt, you know, some pepper maybe, I don't know, some curry, turmeric, time, that. But again, look at these books, folks. These beautiful looking covers, man. You know, right there. What was that? The Unbeloved, the Gray, Sol. You know, Dreamweaver. Oh man, this is the one that actually is really catching my eye because
That's the one
you
that's catching me.
you
Well,
do me
make
some
sure you save the website, man. I'm pretty sure they got it for sale up there.
You mean this website right there,
Website right there.
midnightcomics.org, not .com, folks, not a .net, .org. All right, so midnightcomics.org and spelled properly. All right, that's MIDNIGHT, not NIT. All right, for those that like shortcuts, no, it's the real word. Right, let me playing. All right. And then we got this project over here. My gosh, because again, the big homie is bringing the business. He is always talking about some dope new stuff, right? So we got this book, and this title is just what it is. Yeah, I love how it sounds. Knights of the Abyss. Knights of the Abyss. Yo, what a name! Now, I like some fantasy because I'm a Conan fan and getting into comedy was Christ Star, you know what I mean, Chris the Warrior. So talk to me about this. Because look at this lineup right there. If that shit is not badass, I don't know what to tell you, man. If I'm walking down the hood and I see cats like that standing in the middle of it, I'm turning right around. I go, shit, I'm sorry, sir. Where's 7-Eleven at?
Quintin, one of those guys that put in work early and paid off back when this whole boom first started, this revival, I think, of independent Black comic books. So he was already ready when everybody else started catching up. And you know, he blew up. But the thing about Quintin is he going to share a game with you. So, you know, a person like that deserves, you know, to be recognized as well. So that's why we're here. And, you know, besides his character, his book is amazing, and what he's done with it is phenomenal, man. This guy's on his way to having his own animated series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it looks so kick-ass. I love the name. And folks, right there. My man is not on Kickstarter. He's on a different funding platform. And wait till I show you this. All right. It's not Kickstarter. It's called Wefunder. And let me show you this. Y'all guys' mind is about to be blown. Cause my man, you know, raised some good money from just 329 investors. Man, when you see this right here, my man raised over 135 racks, baby, to support this right here, baby. It's a fan-owned anime, one of the fastest growing independent American manga series. And although when they say American manga, because I understand that there's several cartoons that had that appeal to it. Yeah, because they were made out of the States, but had the manga flavor. And I can't wait to see what this creates. I mean, just with that, I mean, look at that money being raised. People are digging in. We have Quintin Dorsey. We got Jacob Noble. I mean, yep, fearless. I love the dude in white. He reminds me of Phantom X.
Yeah.
Right? And look at that part, bro. Oof.
Dope story, dope. You can tell from reading the manga that once those special effects get animated, it's gonna be insane, man.
I can't wait. I mean, Hollywood loses 10 billion a year due to lack of what is going on there? Really, look at this. Look at these things. It's true though. I mean, people want what they want. We want what we want. We do want the presentation. I mean, I hate the word woke sometimes because it's not woke. It's just hey, just because we want to share our story, sometimes it's considered woke. I mean, so stupid. Yeah, it's just our stories. I mean, you know, we have a different life experience.
Right.
You know, I grew up in New York. I'll tell you that my experience ain't the same as somebody else's at the Midwest.
Somebody from Minnesota or something like that. And the thing is, y'all both got great stories to tell.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be able to sit down at a bar and swap stories and probably laugh our asses off of how fucking different we are and the shit we did. I'm
Right.
sure.
They both give you great stories. Everybody walking this earth got a great story to tell because you got a unique point of view that nobody else has, and it's interesting.
100.
So we should get this. We should all get to tell our stories. Anybody brave enough to do it?
You know, I go visit a local bar, for example, and I hear stories from cats that grew up in Massachusetts. And again, I grew up in the city, Massachusetts, where I'm at, very country. and then where I grew up is country in my eyes is the big city. You feel me?
Yeah.
So just to hear the differences of how we grew up in certain eras, it's hysterical to me. Like, what?
Yeah.
What you mean? It's like, okay, yeah, y'all fucking sound like y'all from the Stone Age. But I did. And why does this look like the craziest ecstasy pill ever made?
He said it looked like the what?
the craziest ecstasy pill in the world. Like, each layer of the high is right there in this pill right there. Look at this, insane.
You ain't never coming down.
Never. I don't think I would want to though, and kind of face these guys. I mean, look at this. Look at that artistry, bro.
Yeah,
and the colors.
It's a really unique look, man. They do something really great with the artwork inside of there, even inside of the manga. Like, if you check that out first before the series comes out, because look at that. You see that effect?
Yeah, and the way that the pictures coming down doesn't remind you of the old school dial-up.
Yeah. We got a lot of windows. We got to work with us.
Yeah, please. Yeah, look at this. Holy shit. Yo. For real. Thank you for introducing me. This looks so sick.
Yep. Please check it out, man. Do you think we got a second to look out the trailer? Because he has an animated short up top.
All the way up top. I better have turned on my audio. All right, let's go. Let me.
What's up, everyone? My name is Quintin Dorsey. Night of Abyss Studios. I couldn't be any happier to finally welcome you all to my first ever Wefunder campaign for Night of Abyss. Now, I know you're wondering, what is Night of Abyss and who is this super cool ninja old black ball guy right here? Let's get into it. Since I was young, I've always had a passion for anime, but throughout the years, I noticed that all the stories that I enjoyed and grew to love needed more diversity. And then I noticed something strange. When a black character appeared, it almost always was in a stereotypical format, comedic relief, or a very minimal role. Being witness to this embarked me on the journey of being a pioneering force in a world of black manga and anime. I really set out to carve a unique path in the entertainment industry. Thus, my journey began. Driven by my passion for anime and a desire to fill this void as a young indie creator, I poured my heart, mind, and soul into the creation of Night of Abyss. A manga series that defies convention. A series that showcases black characters as intelligent, spiritual, and emotionally aware, breaking new ground in the genre. With Night of Abyss, I'm not merely just creating entertainment. I'm fostering a movement, empowering black creators, enriching the world of manga and anime with stories that inspire, challenge, and celebrate the beauty of blackness. But let's get into the story. What is KOA about? Night of Abyss follows three main characters, Knight, Neo, and Ruby. The three find themselves caught in an ancient conflict between two warring empires who are looking to bring about an ancient prophecy known as the Night of Abyss. And I know you're wondering now, who are all these cool characters? Well, let's get into that too. Knight, a young hero who was thrust into an ancient struggle after witnessing the destruction of his ancient
beautiful, man. It's amazing.
A powerful and unstable power known as Sonic Abyss, a devastating power that could vanquish even the most formidable of foes. A Milita Supreme, a mystic powerhouse that plays a very pivotal role in the ancient struggle between the East and West empires of Abyss. Emperor Attilas, leader of the insidious group known as the Collective. Attilas has embarked on a path of ambition, destroying all who stands before him. Ruby East, a young woman with a warrior spirit who finds herself hurled into the ancient struggle between the ancient Abyss empires. Hiroshi X, the hurricane of the East, leader of the Revolutionary Ninja Army Organization X, possessing the raw power of Hurricane Abyss and wielding one of the 7 forbidden swords. Every swing from his sword has an impact of the Category 5. Karina, an assassin whose loyalties remain a mystery. Nevertheless, Karina wields the power of Thunder Abyss and remains a force to be trifled with. Knight of Abyss is a high-level, serious black anime. Our goal is to shift the culture and represent us the right way. It's really the first of its kind. The opportunity to become a pioneer doesn't come often. It's time to seize the moment and make history. Invest right now and join the KOA family. KOA up next.
KOA up next.
That's right, KOA, baby.
Right. What I mean, man, not just ready. When the opportunity come, he there. You know, that video, he didn't make that for us, but it just fits so well inside of what we doing right here and what we presenting. And plus, he just got a dope video. That short is amazing, man. I can see that coming on TV right now. You know, if my kids saw that, my kids would want to be locked in. Watch that.
Shit, I want to be locked in.
Same.
I want to just sit on Netflix right now or whatever. Whoever the fuck it got to be on. Well, whoever pays the most, that's where it should go. All right. A battle for funding. Pay, folks. Pay for this right there. And on Wefunder, guys, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, y'all better start a bidding war right now because that's the future. Again, this on Wefunder, folks. And I love it. So, I mean, why would you think, again, with so many platforms in the, crowdfunding especially, I mean, you're an indie guy out there, in the game. Why would you think that they would use something like Wefunder as opposed to Kickstarter?
I think it's because it's an ongoing thing. It's some kind of, I think it got something to do with investors as opposed to backers or something like that. I'm not really sure how that works. But like I said, man, maybe one day Quintin could take some time out to talk to you and he'll let you know. He got all that information.
Yeah, and Big Chuck in the building, yo. Salute. You guys, as black indie comic guys. Who are some of your favorite black indie comic creators?
One of my favorite characters, man.
Or creators, rather.
He said creators. Okay, well, if we talking creators, then I'm going to go with Greg Burnham. For me, I told you that last time. That answer is not going to change. He does The Search for Saga and other books along with Marcus Williams, visual.
Hold on. Let me get this right over here. There we go. Look at that. Boom.
Yeah, man, they got a crazy 1-2 punch. Greg and Marcus, they make some dope things.
Excellent. Yep.
Yeah, and he's just an excellent writer, man. He gets his accolades with in the mainstream comics as well. So he's written Superman. He's written milestone books and some other things that I can't think of right now. But he also is a person that you can meet at a convention and have a conversation with, and he'll help you along your journey. So That's my favorite. That's why he's my favorite creator. The work is awesome as well, but just the person behind the work what does it for me.
See, for me, I can't say I have a favorite, man. Oh yeah, he did say characters. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, when it comes in the characters, come on, man, it's just too many to name. Even with Black Comic Crusaders, too many to name. I've been on this journey of meeting so many. So to say that I have a favorite is absolutely, truly difficult because everyone brings such a unique story to stuff that they do. Being honest.
Yep.
And so each character, each universe created has a different impact and may touch on a different lane of my personal story. So it would be hard for me now.
It's an easy one for me because I got my own character, so that's my favorite.
Hey, bro, listen, you got to be your number one fan. I've been told you that shit.
That's right.
I've had people say, "Oh, why do you only resell your own shit?" Because nigga, man, I'm my own number one fan. Don't be playing with me. You fucking stupid. Shit. You fucking around with the wrong one right now. I'm my own number one. Shut up.
That's right. Followed by Deathblade.
Hey, oh man, Deathblade. That's right. Yo, bro, we're about to get into this. Cause listen, next week we're gonna have the team back in the house, and we're really gonna dig in. Cause my man hooked me up with the book. All right, I haven't had an opportunity to read it yet, but I got the book. All right. And it's going to be something I'll talk about next week as we're really going to start digging in because I want to have a lot of questions. All right. Yes, but before we do all that, though, my man has given us the honor of introducing the trailer, baby. Holy shit. And I'm excited, bro. Are you ready for this? Are you ready, Alim, to show up?
Maximize my window right now.
Yeah, and I'm maximizing it on this side, folks. Check it out, man. We're about to bring out the premiere of what was the future of independent comic books, man. For one of the dopest creators out in the game. Alim is all over this baby too, my homie. So check it out. Let me bring this onto the big screen right now. Here we go. This is Deathblade. Power right there. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Boom. Oh! Holy shit.
That Anthony
right
Fauci.
Oh, doctor.
Under investigation by state agents.
All right, there we go. What is TBD talking about?
That trailer was fire, man. You can't tell me we're not out here cooking.
Yeah. That looks absolutely effing insane, bro.
Yes. Bro, the whole team from beginning to the end. We got to name the guy, E.A. Brown. That's the mastermind behind the whole thing. But the whole team on down put their foot inside of that project. And you should definitely be getting ready for the Kickstarter to drop April 4th. There's your link right there. Make sure you give us a look.
Bro, I mean, just from you looking at it, and you're like excited, bro. I mean, this is it, man. This looks great, bro. How is it working with you? I know we're gonna get into it, but just give us a little tease, man. Like now after seeing this wonderful trailer, I mean, how you feeling?
Eddie is a man who has dedication to what he does. You know, he's passionate and he comes from a place of love. You know, he puts his resources into it, and he puts his time into it, and he puts his energy into it as the creator. You know, he's not just a guy that said, hey, I got this idea, write this for me. You know what I mean? Draw this for me, color it that way, bring it back so I can go make some money. That's not Ed. Ed been with everybody every step of the way, you know, back and forth, tooth and nail, nothing negative or anything like that, but just the creative process. He's been there. And, you know, he's blessed with a great team. Chuck, the editor, Brian, the writer, myself as the art director, Yusuf is his Yusuf Shitu for the line artist, and Alfred Ital for the coloring, SK for the lettering, and some amazing cover artists from Image Comics and I think some other places that we can get into with you when he's talking about his project. But he really is putting forth a 110% effort production, and it won't be money wasted if you back Deathblade. So make sure y'all click in on that link on the Kickstarter and follow, so you're ready on April 4th so you can get those early bird specials and those limited drops.
So I want you to talk to me here, man, because the name like Deathblade,
Villain,
anti-hero.
You gotta say it like that too. You're Deathblade. You know?
That just sounds crazy. I just love the fucking name, bro. It sounds great too. And there's also this so spirit of indie comics, bro. You know, how do you think Skull Valley fits into, you know, this Black creative renaissance? We're about to talk about what led us into all this in just a moment. But what do you think about that? I mean, you know, seeing all these amazing now Black creators out in the game, like really, like just murdering it and bringing about new stories, and we're starting to see even more stories that are more cultural, if you will. You know, you get African stories, Caribbean stories, and you know.
I think that I think the world is ready for it. I don't believe the negativity that I see on the internet and everything like that. I think that that threw me off a little bit. I think that people are ready for new stories, you know what I'm saying? But we got to control how they're being put out. We got to control the narrative of it, because it's a lot of clickbaity websites out there and pages on social media that put the worst possible title up next to a thing, or they'll take a case study of 5 angry fans and just say, you know, people are upset that Harry Osborn is Black on the new Spider-Man or whatever, and then that becomes a thing instead of it just being a dope series or whatever. So
even though I never realized that homie always had waves and shit, so I think he was
wavy. Even wavy since he came out, man. It don't matter. He's still Norman is still the character, but that's a whole nother show and story.
Yeah, right? You know.
So, but when we go ahead, when we do things like this, man, and kind of take the reins of how these things is presented, I think that people will be receptive. We out here creating amazing stories for you, right? And it wasn't always an easy thing to do, which we about to learn about, but we get into a place now where we can enjoy these things together, right? So like, now that you've seen these people and what they're doing and how professional and amazing the products that they're presenting, come and give them a look, give them a play, so you can have more to enjoy. It's for you, you know, it's for you to have something to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what people got to understand. It's stories, and you never know how you're going to connect to them. You'd be surprised, because at the end of the day, we have one thing in common: we're all human. You know what I mean? And talking about being human, I mean, you know, Alim just brought us about 4 awesome current creators, right? That got some fire stuff out there. And, you know, please show some love. But, you know, I don't think the doors would have been open for them. It wouldn't have been But certain people we're going to show right now. I mean, I may have to rush through some and whatnot because again, there's a lot of people, and I don't know if many of you have heard of them. You know what I mean? I know I sent this to Ali when he gave me this idea, and I took a deep dive, boy. And I said, Ali, yeah, yo, thank you for sending me this over. I also did this, and he's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I learned something reading this for sure.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you. Now, that's what I want.
You.
That's what. No, man. But thank you for giving me, because then you gave me an opportunity to learn too. Because one of the first people we're going to talk about definitely is different. Because we're going to run through some of the most influential Black comic book creators to ever grace the game. All right, let me take that Deathblade note out there, because it's more than Deathblade, man. Let me tell you right now, because some of these people you may have heard of, some you may have not. So we just want to sit back, relax for a moment, and learn, because I want to go way back, and start going back into the pioneers. That's right, going back into the 30s and 40s. And I want to introduce this lady right here, Jackie Orms. Yo, this is really cool because she's recognized as the first Black woman cartoonist in the United States of America. She created the syndicated comic book strip called Torchy Brown back in 1937, Patty Joe and Ginger, which ran in Black newspapers. Yes, back in the day, they even segregated newspapers, whatever. But she had a syndicated strip, right? She used the platform to address, a lot of social issues like racism and environmental justice. All right, but check this out. This is a cool little side note, right? She was the first nationally distributed Black female created comic strip, but she also had a fashion doll created in the likeness of a character, Patty Joe, meaning that was also one of the first Black dolls in America.
Mm-hmm.
All right, she portrayed Black women as intelligent protagonists at a time when representation was scarce. And she later inspired later Black women in comics, and was really cool. She was posthumously inducted into the Eisner Comic Hall of Fame back in 2018.
That's the dream.
Were you aware of who Jackie was?
Say what?
Did you know who Jackie was?
No, I had no idea. But when I was reading this and watching, a documentary about that time period that she was living in, it really kind of married two and two together. She was doing this inside of like isolated, no big deal or whatever. But when you take a real look at what she was living in when she was out here doing her thing, it just adds another layer to it. And I think she deserves to be remembered and celebrated forever. So again, thank you for putting this presentation together, man.
Really absolutely, man. It's my pleasure because I got to learn. Because again, that this is all of us. This is all our stories and our struggles and our journeys, man. And a big salute to Jackie, but we got a big guy here too. My man Matt Baker, Golden Age comic book artist, cited as the first successful Black comic book artist in the industry. All right, he worked for Iger Studios in the 40s. He worked on characters like Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. Funny enough, like Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, right? She was a white lady in the jungle, not weird enough photo. Phantom Lady. He was credited with drawing Voodoo, considered the first Black comic book. Check that out. Baker's 40s Phantom cover later was iconic in pop culture, even figured into the 50 Cent hearing on comics when they were trying to ban that shit. You know what I mean? That comics went through its problem. He contributed to the first known Black hero in comics, Voodoo, co-created one of the earliest graphic novels. It rhymes with lust back in 1950s. His impact was due to his lush art style, influenced by the romance and adventure genre. Back in the day, romance and adventure was like the big deal. Romance comics and adventure heroes. That was kind of the deal. And I dug that at the time.
Conan and all that, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, good shit. But he also paved the way for Black artists in segregated industry. He proved that Black talent could flourish, even if he himself was often uncredited at the time, which is wild. Because you had this incredibly talented man doing some dope shit. But he came from an era where it wasn't feasible for white readers to think that a Black creator could create something. So anytime they thought they read something, it had to be a white person. So he went uncredited. insane, but he shaped the comic industry, man, while also improving African American visibility in comics at the time when he was able to get credit. I mean, were you aware of Matt Baker prior?
No, I wasn't, man. Again,
look at
on the light. You 2 for 2.
I love this, man. Yeah, bro. So a big salute to my man right there. And there goes another one right here. Orrin C. Evans, a former journalist, and he became the first black comic book publisher. All right. So this my man over here was the man that created all Negro comics #1, the first comic book written and drawn entirely by black creators. And this is back in 1947. So it featured heroes like Lion Man, Ace Harlem, of course, and aiming to entertain black readers, but also counter those racist depictions that they had back in the day in the media. You know what I mean?
Yeah, stereotypical dark blue, red lips and black skin, pink black skin comics, right?
Yeah, but for real, because one of his key accomplishments was that he was able to publish all Negro comics as a standalone venture in what was a mainstream white-owned newspaper back in the 30s. I mean, so Evans' attempt was a bold assertion for a creative independent, especially for colored folks at the time. Feel me? Although, sadly, of course, you know, systemic racism had to come into play, and the second issue was destroyed, because suppliers refused him newsprint once they found out that he was black as a publisher.
Okay, so he snuck one in on them, and then they was hit by the time the second one.
Yeah. They said, "Nah, brother, you ain't doing another one." And that was fucked up. I mean, you know, but O'Neill Comics is definitely remembered as a milestone that, you know, later inspired some more black-owned imprints. You know what I mean? And demonstrated that black creators could produce some high-quality comics. And planting seeds, man, that he planted the seed for real. Because now I bet you after that, those publishers were very savvy. Let's have a meeting, right? Not to be overtly racist. All of a sudden, they wanted to have meetings, you know, in person and shit, motherfucker.
Yeah, can't just submit by mail anymore.
Right? But I'm happy he did what he did, because it showed the world, like, yo, we exist. Check out this dope book. I'm sure that book probably sold the fuck out. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure that thing is probably worth serious money, man. You can find a mint copy of that.
Oh man, finding mint would be crazy, but it definitely would be an interesting add to any collection, you know, for sure, bro.
It's crazy, man. It's been a journey, and reading these stories and hearing these tales of these people's lives. It's just been, you know, there were some things that happened for us to get here and be able to do this and even have this conversation right now. And it's amazing to be able to look at it.
For real, I mean, look at homie over here, Elmer C. Stoner. He's one of the first African-American comic book artists, you know, and he was active in the 30s and 40s. He was a commercial illustrator. Like so many comic book artists, a lot of them do start in a different field, and at least based on my experience in interviewing folks, a lot of people do come from that commercial illustration. But then he started doing comics in 39. He drew for publishers like Dell and Fox Features. So basically, he contributed to titles like the OG Blue Beetle. You know what I mean? He broke into all white field comic book illustration early on. He was mentored and helped by other black artists. People consider him a conduit who opened doors for the rest of black comic artists for later generations, including who we spoke about recently, and Matt Baker. He's credited with helping them get paid assignments, because, you know, back in the day, I guess, you know, you go in as colored, hey, you know, they'll use your skill and won't pay you shit.
They tell you, I got you later. Come back in a week and the doors is locked.
Oh shit, right? Like, fucking Rimsey, I'll gladly pay you for a hamburger today. I mean, on Tuesday for a hamburger today type shit. But my man over here, as an artist, he opened doors. You know what I mean? And again, to also make sure that you got paid. So a big salute to Elmer C. Stoner. Was he a stoner? I don't think so. He was clean cut.
He's a great man. That's the people that we talking about, man. These are the type of people that I chose to highlight today, that get their foot inside of a door and then try to bring other people in with them. You know, that's what indie for me is about, you know, because that's been my experience with everybody that I've met so far. I met a lot of great people, and they've all been willing to share what they can so that we can all grow and all flourish. And Elmer C. Stoner seems to exemplify that.
Absolutely. And not just Elmer, we got Alvin Hollingsworth, also one of the first Black artists in comic books back in the day. As a teenager, mind you, he was contributing to comics in the 40s, was continuing into the 50s. He freelanced on crime, war, and horror comics for publishers like Holyoke and Fiction House at a time when Black creators were nearly invisible in mainstream comics. All right. He also contributed an article titled like Golden Age in horror stories. He became much later in life a prominent fine artist and an educator. All right. So lesser known fans and historians cite him as one of the first African-American artists to break into comics business, because he worked alongside white colleagues in the 40s and 50s. His career path, turning to fine art by the 60s, also highlights how limited the comic industry was for Black talent at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but could you imagine that? But he worked side by side and was given some credit, unlike my man Matt, which had to fight for his.
Right. So he's in the 40s and 50s. Yeah, I'm saying the 60s down here. Was he still operating then?
Yeah, I mean, because you got to keep in mind the 50s were a tumultuous time for comics and Black creators.
A big time of change inside of the country. Something was bubbling up inside of the 50s that would spill over into the 60s and change the nation.
Yep. Because in the 50s, you had the Comics Code Authority, which started in 54, and it imposed strict content rules. And by unknown, or rather unwritten practice, having a Black protagonist could get a comic book denied back then. Isn't that shit fucking crazy?
That's wild.
So effectively, this pushed Black characters and creators out of the mainstream in the mid 50s. So Black cartoonists, while they continued to work in Black-owned newspapers and magazines, but they weren't readily available in what we consider the mass market of comic books at the time. So Black rep, in the mainstream almost vanished at that point in time in the 50s, right? So pioneers like Holmes, who we talked about, which retired in 56, by the way, and others like Evans and Hollingworth, they found very few opportunities then, by this time. So this drought set the stage for alternate paths for Black creators to take into the 60s. So they started turning into what became independent publications.
There we
and
go.
the fandom scene to tell this story. So now we're going to start getting into the 60s. And this is an era that was definitely all about independent voices and then the early inroads. And really, now, all right, yeah, motherfuckers were trying to shut us up. Nah, we're waking up now. We're waking up. And one of those, that started was the creator of We Pals. That started in 65, my man, Maury Turner. He was the first African-American cartoonist with a nationally, let me repeat that, nationally syndicated comic strip, all right? A diverse cast of kids. That's right. Diverse cast of kids. Were you going to consider him woke? Because he decided diverse back in the day. He presented an integrated world of friendships during the civil rights era, all right? He was initially only picked up by a handful of newspapers, right? But then the strip gained wider syndication after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King in 1968. Now, as audiences and editors sought more inclusive content. Now, among his key accomplishments, he was the first Black syndicated cartoonist in mainstream press. We Pals ran for decades. Turner's impact and success in syndication proves that comics with Black characters can, in fact, appeal to broader audiences. He generally educated readers about tolerance, unity, paving the way for Black comic strips, and served as a counterpoint to the era's resistance, because some papers had canceled strips rather than show a Black character before this. Wild. How
we came a long way together.
A
long way and not so far, but a long way together, man. And but just like you said, just like in the 60s, man, now we living in a time where indie can pop. Nobody can gatekeep these stories anymore. You know what I'm saying? We can go out and make things happen for ourselves. All of us can do that.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, we need this. We're talking about it, Ed. I mean, we need. I agree. We need these documentaries. I got this here. You know what I mean? I found this all this information, and it's just wonderful.
That's right, Ed. We can all eat, all of us together.
Preach, baby. I say that shit all the effing time. We could definitely all eat, man. And let's continue about eating. Because look at my man over here, bro. I love the fly suit and bow tie, homie. This man right here is Bertram A. Fitzgerald. He was a pioneering Black comic book publisher who founded Fitzgerald Publishing. All right. In 1966, he launched Golden Legacy, a comic book series devoted to African American history, because he felt that history books lacked Black heroes. So he used comics to educate and inspire. Now, look at this. This is back in 1966, where nowadays you find that in college they're teaching comic book courses. No, my man was already teaching people back in 1966, educating them really uses of comics. All right. So Golden Legacy produced 16 issues between 1966 and 1976. The return of the lives of like Black icons like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. He sustained the Black-owned comic book publishing venture through the 60s. He reached schools and youth with those educational comics. He later published Fats Willie Jackson in 1976. Now, that was one of the first Black-focused humor comics. And that was also at a time when mainstream comics offered very few Black positive images. So Fitzgerald's work filled a very important gap at that time. So Golden Legacy proved the power of indie in Black storytelling. Now, these comics were used in classrooms and praised for presenting Black history in an accessible format. Again, comic books, why not? Because again, you're keeping kids, it's artistry, it's words, they see a movement, and it's helping the imagination along. Again, that's the power of comic books, and that was educated.
Making it a fun experience for them.
Please, bro. Late Fitzgerald would basically that model that Fitzgerald built is what would inspire later educators and publishers to use comics for education and social change. So if why comic books are in your classrooms, thank this man right here. You heard me? So Bertram A. Fitzgerald, salute my brother. Thank you so much for bringing comics to us. Now, I love my man's name here. Now, not for nothing, not to stereotype, but I would think my man is a weehead with a name that he had. My man is Richard Green.
That's a cool cat, man. He's just a cool guy.
I love the name. But he was a pioneering Black fan artist and underground cartoonist. Because again, we got to celebrate all types of comics, not those that was just in the mainstream, but underground comics had a big theme, especially in the 60s. Again, what was underground in the 60s is what we would call independent today. So Green got his start in comic book fanzine in the 60s. He debuted in Star-Studded Comics in 64 when Black creators were unwelcome in what were code-approved comics. So just imagine that. So in the Comics Code Authority, it wasn't just about the creation of Black characters, but it's also that Black creators were also, y'all gonna bring a message here that we don't want in this. Bullshit, yo. Bullshit. Now, Green's most famous creation was Zalcor, the human cat. A sci-fi hero he introduced in fandom circles. In 1972, he published Super Soul Comics, baby, an underground comics satirizing race and superhero tropes. He was the first Black artist to gain prominence in comic fandom circles. In the 60s, one of the earliest Black creators in the 70s of underground comics movement. Green kept Black heroes alive in the margins of the 60s when the mainstream shut them out. And by bypassing traditional publishers and using fanzines and underground presses, he set an example of do-it-yourself as a route for Black creators, all right? So again, pioneer, baby. Right. Like
go ahead, Grass. Tell him, Grass. That's what it's about, Grass. Go do it. You ain't gotta wait on nobody to feed you. Go get your own plate.
That's right, bro. So Super Soul Comics was brazen and flipping the bird to the Comics Code sensibilities, claiming the path for more Black voices in alternative comics. So he basically, that's it. He gave that middle finger to the Comic Code Authority. He said, "Fuck yeah, I don't need your approval to do what I." That's why he's smiling like that. That smile says,
that's what that smile is. Go ahead, that's what I'm talking about. Uncle Grass.
I love it. Yo, Big Tom in the building was popping. Yo, what's up? Anyway, yo, Concrete started doing some classroom teaching. Well, yo, come on, bro.
Okay, Concrete Comics is another one that deserves attention. For sure. They're doing a phenomenal job over there at Concrete.
Oh, excellent. But
I don't want to derail the lesson.
It's all right. No, but let them Concrete. Yo, let's go. Support them too. If they're doing lessons like this, man. Cause look at my man over here with this big smile right here. It's my man Larry Fuller. He was another trailblazer in the late 60s and early 70s in underground comics. All right, scene. He wrote a published Iban, right, the first comic book to star a Black superhero created by Black talent. Imagine that. Imagine that you don't get a comic book hero, a Black one at that, created by a black person until the 70s. What the fuck?
Yeah,
think about
right.
that.
And where did we start? We started this journey back in what,
In
37?
the 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about a superhero. All right, so it took this much time. And check this out. It was a one-shot that followed a black hero named Ebon in a classic superhero tale. It was a landmark, first of its kind, full of working from San Francisco. Also produced adult-themed underground comics like Sex and the Single Sister and Geneva in the early 70s. Wepa! He was covering out space for black creators in that subculture. Let me see, He also proved that black creators could independently publish superhero comics outside of Marvel and DC Comics domain.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so which was again a big feat at the time, even when black heroes like Black Panther were mostly handled by white creators. Because again, it wasn't a black person that created Black Panther. If you guys that no, you know what I mean. So Ebon's existence as a landmark in black creative thought showed the possibility of black-owned superhero universe full of success in underground comics. Also opened the door for more black cartoonists, men and women, to tell uncensored stories reflective of black life. I mean, did you hear of him before, Larry? You see my man before? No. Oh, am I still putting you on over here?
No, you still putting me on, man. But we catching up to my time soon.
Al, you're fucking old. That's what he's saying to me right now. I love it. Yeah, but again, these are the pioneers that love it. Yeah. My man over here loves comics, my man. That's a big time right there. Yo, salute World at War Cons, yo. Another great podcast, fellow Crusader, yo. Much love. Now, we got my man right here, brother. This is my man, Billy Graham. No relation to the evangelist or the wrestler. All right. My man was a comic artist who became one of Marvel's first black artists.
Okay, Billy.
Yes, Billy Graham. Now, he's famed for his work on Luke Cage's Hero for Hire in 72 and Marvel's Jungle Action, where he teamed with writer Don McGregor on the critically acclaimed Black Panther series. And let me tell you, Don, for a white man, I think that Don is a black man trapped in a white man's body, because the way that he fought for black rights in black comic characters back then and the things that he did. There was a story that goes where they say, hey, Black Panther has too many black people. They approached him and he's like, yeah, you got to add more white people. My man said, okay. And he took that and basically did a KKK story.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's not
his ass over that shit, you know.
I love it, man. I love to see it. You know what I'm saying? He should be included inside of the history.
Oh, yeah, but
it's a human history, and this guy is somebody, it seems, that understands that we all human beings. This is how the world is supposed to be. Everybody's supposed to be treated equally based off of the content of their character and go from there. And I love people. I love being around people like that. You know,
Don also did the first girl-on-girl kiss in comics and got fucked up for that too. Hey, he was taking chances. My man was I love his energy. This dude is wild. But guess what? Graham also co-piloted and drew many of T'Challa's early solo adventures. He helped to redefine what Black Panther is, the complex hero. He was co-creator to Marvel's first black solo superhero comic. He brought new levels of representation and artistry to mainstream comics. His detailed and expressive art on Black Panther lent authentically and respect to an African hero originally created by, again, white creators. So colleagues consider him a modern pioneer whose breakthroughs opened the doors for black creators in Marvel. The characters he's helped shape, like Luke Cage and Black Panther, became cultural icons. And obviously his legacy is seen in how later black artists were welcomed onto those titles. Again, we're going to talk about, those later inclusions into the Black Panther mythos that definitely changed the game as well. And probably just as strong as he was when this happened, right?
Right.
And then we got my man Arvell Jones. He's also one of the earliest black artists at Marvel Comics. He began working for Marvel in the mid-70s. And my man over here co-created one of my favorite characters, especially when I saw live action. Man, that woman is sexy, Misty Knight.
Oh, shit. Go get some coffee.
Hey, yo. So, again, Misty, groundbreaking black superhero. She was the first black superhero in Marvel. Yeah, she preceded Storm. Storm took the spotlight, but Misty came first. Right?
I didn't know that either.
Oh, really? Yeah, Misty came first, but so he later drew for DC as well. He was involved also in Milestone Media. He co-created Misty Knight, of course, contributed to major superhero books in the 70s. And again, like I said, yep, he introduced the first Black woman in Marvel. Okay, there was I didn't even read this even before I said it. This is something I knew out of a fact because I love Misty. She said, especially after I met the actress in person too. I said, Lord, if I don't get divorced now.
I see you made sure you put that Netflix appearance inside of your notes.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful woman, man.
But listen, his presence in Marvel was trailblazing. Again, one of the first Black artists in Marvel Comics, and Jones' success shows that Black creators could thrive in superhero comics, just beyond drawing Black characters, because he also drew many iconic white heroes too. But just to see that Misty has also had such a lasting popularity. Like I said, including in the Netflix, like you mentioned, it's the thing. So a big salute, thanks for creating such a wonderful character, homie. Then we got homie here, man. He looked like he came straight out the NWA. He looked gangster, bro. Right, and this Trevor Von Eden, bro. All right, check this out. Liam. My man was hired by DC Comics when he was only 16 years old.
Yep.
And you know something that's crazier? He was the first Black artist at DC at that time as well.
Mm.
How crazy is that? So,
and one of the youngest in mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. And he helped co-create Black Lightning, which is DC's first Black superhero. Now, DC was way behind in the game because DC's first Black superhero did not come onto the scene until 1977.
Damn near 1980.
Yeah, for real. And it was also co-created by Tony Isabella, a white guy. And a big salute to Tony too, because he worked hard and he pushed hard to create that. So basically, my man Trevor here, he basically designed that look, headlining that DC's first Black superhero.
Now, iconic look.
For real, man. So his dynamic style on Black Lightning and other books proved his chops. He inspired subsequent Black artists to enter mainstream comics. And obviously, you saw the character Black Lightning has become a pillar of DC's universe. Even had his own TV show and everything. Underscoring the significance of Von Eden's contribution, his very hiring signals DC's slow turn during inclusivity in the 70s. But obviously, Marvel was way ahead of the game at that point when it became and diversity.
Times by then.
Isn't that crazy? So through the 70s, mainstream comics basically introduced a whole bunch more Black characters. So we had Luke Cage, we had Black Panther, we had Falcon, Storm, Black Lightning. But these heroes were all mostly conceived by white creators. Now, Black creators were typically the artists bringing them to life visually, especially with Graham, Jones, and Von Eden, rather than the writers. But this imbalance did lead to some stereotypical portrayals. For example, like Luke Cage stories leading to Blaxploitation tropes of the movies of the time, right? It galvanized the next generation of Black writers to enter comics into the 80s to tell a little bit more authentic stories, right? And meanwhile, the 70s underground and the indie scene, that continues to flourish for Black creators beyond Fuller and Green. Black-owned publications like Orbital Comics and later Pacific Comics gave a platform to talent who couldn't yet keyword get into Marvel and DC, the big boys, because Marvel and DC, to me, that's like the major leagues right there, right?
So we saying that the indie scene was popping even back then, right? That's what we talking about.
Absolutely. It was growing. It was something that was just festering in the background always. It was that boiling pot of macaroni and cheese, man. You know what I mean? That's what it was, yo. It was just going there. Now, something I found very interesting is this young man over here. We all know him by one particular name, but my man over here, let me just call him by his real name for the moment. Jim Owsley. Back in 79, Jim Owsley was hired at Marvel Comics, and by 84 he became Marvel's first Black editor. So look at that, 1984, Marvel had his first Black editor. He transitioned to writing and built a reputation for smart, boundary-pushing stories. My man wrote for notable series like Power Man and Iron Fist, Conan, Spider-Man versus Wolverine in the 80s, before going on to a celebrated run on Black Panther in 1998. Now, Owsley was the first African-American Marvel comic editor. Again, prolific writer across, right? He opened doors on the editorial side, and he proved that a black writer could helm flagship characters, not just black characters.
Mm-hmm.
So again, showing that, listen, just
and sometimes, probably most times, it just makes sense to do it that way. It's a value, there's value in that.
Yep. And he's known for complex storytelling and introducing nuanced black perspective into superhero comics. His successes in the 80s set the stage for more black writers at mainstream companies, even though progress remains slow. Now, I know I've been saying the name Jim Owsley, but that's his real name, who I'm talking about, and everybody knows him. This is Christopher Priest. All right. So, I need to know the story. Is my man James Bond? He goes from Jim Owsley to Christopher Priest. Well, what you?
Yeah, how that going about?
I need to know this story. And then we got a legend. No, this is not Morgan Freeman, folks. This is Dennis Cowan, baby. All right. He is the leading black comic book artist since the 80s, man. He gained notice for his gritty art on DC. All right. So, yeah, DC started opening doors. That's why all of a sudden let's get some black creators. So, my man started his work on The Question between 87 and 89. My man has also worked on Batman. All right. He had drawn Power Man and Iron Fist for Marvel. He became basically a go-to artist for a lot of acclaimed series. All right. Now, he co-created one of the dopest characters in Milestone Comics, Hardware, right? Okay. He brought a hard edge, urban aesthetic that meshed well with streetwise, rather socially conscious characters. All right, so Cowan also parlayed this credibility to the co-founder of Milestone Media. So he's not just a co-creator of a character, but also of the company itself. You feel me? So he also mentors other artists as well, and he's been very influential in building this, future talent in the industry. How familiar are you with Dennis's art?
Not extremely, not as much as I should be, but I did appreciate some of the things that came from out of the initiative. I've got some hardware books. I think Static Shock got his start out of there too, right?
Absolutely.
We gotta give credit where it's due, man. We've been enjoying that for years and years.
We're gonna talk about those folks too that definitely made some changes and did some games, because as we start getting there, let's talk about another versatile cartoonist and graphic novelist that's coming up next over here, and that's my man Kyle Baker. He started at Marvel, Ink in the Shadow. All right, and then he earned the claim for his own graphic novel series in Human Comics. His book Why I Hate Saturn in 1990 won multiple Eisner Awards. And then he created a graphic novel called Nat Turner about the 1831 slave rebellion. Yeah, bro. He's worked in both superhero comics. He helped revamp Plastic Man, right? He's done original project. He's pushed boundaries with visual storytelling. He's blended satire, social commentary, and experimental art. As a black creator in the indie comic scenes, he's demonstrated that black voices could thrive beyond the capes and tights genre. His graphic novel, again, Nat Turner, brought a powerful black historical narrative to comics, influencing how the medium can actually tackle black history. So look at that. He brought let's take history into comic book format, and look, he killed it. He killed it.
Anybody that's got multiple Eisner Awards under their belt is somebody that you should be paying attention to.
Yeah, man. And what comes? Dennis opened his eyes to amazing black creators with the rest of the Milestone team. Yeah, so we're gonna get into that. Yeah, and Wayne McDuffie. That's right. Dwayne McDuffie, brother. Don't you worry. We're gonna get into that. Now, when I mentioned this.
I'm writing this down, man. This is the kind of stuff.
I'm gonna take a note.
After my own heart. I love a comic book that steps away from superhero tropes, man.
Oh, you and me both, man. But let's talk about Legend over here. Because I know when I added this name, you say, "Yo, I'm so happy."
Man, right there.
Finally, my man knows somebody is. Right?
I know him too. I met him.
He knows him. Oh shit! But we're talking about Larry Stroman, man. Now listen, Stroman is best known for his dynamic work on Marvel's Alien Legion. Let me tell you, that's how I found them too. Because those fucking books, there was always something about that fucking art on those books. I was a little kid when these books were coming out, and then they
Which books is this you're talking about now, bro?
Oh my, alien leads. Don't you messing around? What you got there? What you got there?
Wait, now you tell me what we talking about now.
Well, we got Alien Legion, man. We got X Factor 2, man. Murdering it. We got Tribe, because again,
we got Tribe. You're right. We do got Tribe.
Right. My man.
I got to meet Larry Johnson. Todd Johnson and Mr. Larry down at the Atlantic Comic Con. Yes. And it was an amazing experience, man. Great people, beautiful work. These are guys that put in work before this era that makes it easy for us. You know what I mean? They became the number one book in the nation, I think, off of boots on the ground legwork. And these guys.
This is it. In 1993, folks. I graduated high school. I'm showing my age. In 1993. Larry Stroman and Todd Johnson launched Tribe at Image Comics, and it soon became the best-selling comic ever by Black creators. Check this out. Over 1 million copies of #1 sold. Understand me? Let me repeat that. 1 million copies of #1 sold. Now, Tribe's success was short-lived, but it proved the point about the commercial viability of Black-led projects. Stroman's career inspired other artists of color to pursue work on high-profile superhero books. Because again, think about that. I remember that cover. I have it somewhere over here too. I was buying everything up Image, and especially when I heard something like this that was popping off, especially with DC doing what they were doing with Milestone at the time. It was like, oh man, we're finally getting colored comics. You know what I mean? In a way. You know, it's like people that look like us. Because again, please understand, I grew up in New York. So I grew up in a melting pot. So when I open my comic books, and if I only seen nothing but white people, not that it really struck me in any way, but in the back of my mind, it's like, this is not where I live. It doesn't look like this, you know?
Right.
So when I started seeing that diversity, now it's like, okay, it makes me feel more at home as I read.
Right.
More comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know? That's all that's about, ain't nothing else, you know what I mean? But there goes Larry right there, a big old salute. Now we got Barbara Brandon Koff. Yes, well, she's primarily a cartoonist. She's a comic book strip creator. She merits a mention because she's breakthrough as a Black woman in comics during the 80s and 90s. All right, the daughter of the cartoonist Brumstick Brandon Jr., Barbara started contributing to Luther, her father's strip, back in 1989. Launched Where I'm Coming From, a witty comic strip featuring Black female characters. In 91, she became the first Black woman with a nationally syndicated comic book strip. She was the first Black female syndicated back in the 90s, and it ran basically in all the major newspapers and addressed issues from dating to racism with humor. All right, she extended the path that Jackie Arms blazed, who we spoke about earlier, bringing Black women's voices to funny pages. Successes in syndication during the early 90s paralleled the strides Black creators were making in comic books, and she highlighted the double challenges of being Black and female in the industry. Her work opened doors for more Black women in both strips and comic books in years to come. So a big salute to her. Again, another door open, another trailblazer. And that's what's the important thing here, because
brings to mind George Gant, who has Beware the Toddler right now. That's I believe that's just become nationally syndicated. But congratulations to him, right? That thing has been, a nice breath of fresh air on my news feeds for years now. And he's finally getting the credit that he deserves and the recognition. So
but and look what
coming soon. There we go. Yep, because that's why they back out on the road. Then that's why they hitting them Comic Con circuits, man. I need to go back and see them again, because I got to talk to Todd for a little while, but I was afraid to sit down and talk with Larry. So next time I go,
don't be scared, bro. Come on, bro. You're Alim Leggett, bro. You got some dope ass stories yourself, bro. Come on now. He's gonna do some covers for you. Fucking around, bro. Come on now. Now, we're getting there, folks. You know what I mean? Just a little bit longer. Again, this is just I took a deep dive. Like I thought, I really took a fucking deep dive when I did this. Yeah. Right? I just couldn't help it. So, my man, we're talking about this before, right? In the 90s, we hit milestones, no pun intended, and beyond, with a new wave of heroes, especially in DC Comics. Masterminded by this man right
Wayne
there,
Duffy.
bro. A towering figure in the 90s, man. A writer, an editor. I mean, did cartoons, comics, everything. He co-founded Milestone in 93. And why did he find Milestone? Because he was frustrated. He was frustrated with the underrepresentation that was in comics, and with his partners Dennis, Michael Davis, Derry T. Dingle, he created Milestone to publish comics by Black creators about characters of color. Mind you that, all right? Diverse, not just Black characters, but all characters that were not being represented at the time. All right. So he was the architect behind titles like Static, Icon, Hardware. He was either writing or co-writing a whole bunch of them. He early had made a mark at Marvel with satirical series Damage Control. Right now, Milestone's driving creative force launched a universe of Black superheroes in the early 90s. All right, and now it led to one of the dopest cartoons. If you guys ain't watched, how shame on you, Static Shock, which also won multiple awards, mind you. All right. He also wrote for DC's Justice League, all right, and Justice League Unlimited. Come on now. McDuffie was revolutionary, bro. He introduced such a wave of authentically Black heroes in an era that was dominated, seriously dominated by white creators. So characters like Static and Icon being authentically Black, and thanks to McDuffie's right here, Dwayne McDuffie's artisanship. All right, he brought those real life nuances to the personalities and those struggles. Now, Milestone proved that Black creators could succeed in a shared universe model. Their comics earned critical acclaim and lasting fan devotion. And what's crazy is that you could get that whole first run of Milestone. That's less than 100 comics altogether. Believe it. But look at that, such a small run. You know, if you think about it, it will only fill a short box and not even. Still has such an impact in the 90s. All right. So basically, what he did right here, what my man right here is, he showed an entire generation that comics could be diverse and commercially viable. You feel me?
Right.
That's the man right here.
Stepped out and did it, man. And we only going backwards. I think we started 50 years ago.
Yep.
Before this moment, our trip through
only
history.
50. Yeah.
Only 50 years. That's not a long time, man. I'm 40. You know what I mean? So not a long time at all, man. To have made so much progress.
Absolutely. So the Milestone founders, that again collectively are Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, Derry T. Dingle, and McDuffie. Now, these four men made history by forming the first major Black-owned comic book imprint in partnership with DC Comics. Again, they published series like Static, Icon, Hardware, Blood Syndicate. Again, featuring predominantly Black and minority heroes. They even showcased the first trans hero, if you believe it. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, yo, they're way ahead of their time. They were doing things that definitely were not seen in comics then, but are hardly spoken about now. So, and they also employed many artists, you know, and writers of color, and they created a pipeline for new talent. Milestone's creation was a watershed moment. It confronted the industry's diversity gaps head on and achieved success on its own terms. And by the mid-90s, Milestone comics were showing up on comic racks everywhere, giving young Black readers heroes that look like them and creators a chance to tell stories that were free of the filter, what you say, what was the mostly white editorial system. You know what we're talking about. You know, they push the stereotypes and all this, that, the other. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's be honest. So even after Milestone's initial run ended, its characters like Static and its alumni, you know, Cowan, one of the writers, Ivan Velez Jr., John Paul Leon, etc., they continued on to influence comics and animation. But Milestone's both moved in the 90s, basically laying a groundwork for today's diversity initiatives in comics. And I agree, Edward, I agree. That was one of my arguments when I met Christopher Peace in person at a con before Milestone came back. I argued with him, was like, why is everybody fighting, especially in DCO, about diverse heroes and trying to gender swap this, that, the other, when you have a whole fucking unique universe? I mean, hello.
Just waiting, locked and loaded and ready to go.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? You don't have to change anything. You have it, so, and use it. And I'm glad that they're bringing it back. And now we will go to this guy. The guy formerly known as Jim Owsley. Mr. Christopher Priest. Now,
he'd be double back.
Yeah, we're doubling back for this one reason. Because when we spoke about him initially, it's because he was an editor, right? And he started doing things. But in the 90s, now, this is his decade. This is his decade. All right, because this is when now he started writing unpopular runs for street level heroes like Steel for DC. He launched one of the most seminal runs on Black Panther at Marvel at the time. All right, the Marvel Knights era, Black Panther was the first solo title for T'Challa that was written by a Black author. Because yes, Black Panther did have a solo prior, but that was not by a Black writer or a Black artist. Feel me? So this is the first time like Black Panther was finally penned by a Black person. Now think about this. T'Challa was created in the 60s, right? And he had a run in the 70s, his first one, right? Black Panther did not have a Black writer until 1998. What the fuck?
Damn near a new millennium.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So basically, his take on Black Panther has become the definitive modern take, which influenced the film later on, because he co-created characters like Okoye, the Dora Milaje for the Dora Milaje. Yep. During that run, he also co-created the comic Quantum and Woody from Valiant, because Valiant comics was back hot in the 90s, right? And Quantum and Woody is basically an interracial buddy superhero comedy, which won a lot of acclaim. It's humorous, and the way he did it was great. I've seen newer iterations of it. I don't think no one could do what Priest did. All right. Because he brings an authenticity and a satirical edge to things, and that's also what made Black Panther cool at the time and relevant again when he brought it into the game. So his success was to prove that Black writers could handle flagship titles. Because guess what? Later on, he wrote big boys like Green Lantern, Captain America, and more. So he has remained one of the relatively few high-profile Black writers in mainstream comics through the 90s, which is often advocating for more diversity behind the scenes. So a big salute to my man right there.
Dope, man.
And then, you know this guy. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Aaron Magruder, man. In the realm of comic strips and later animation, Magruder is one of the most prominent voices. Well, guess what, folks? I'm 1, 2. Well, the Boondocks, that's right. Debuting in 96 on the internet. Oh, 96, bro. Jesus Christ. This is when this shit was still dial-up, son. You know what I mean?
I'm going early.
You know what I mean? Yeah, for real. So it's syndicated to newspapers by 99. So it debuted in 96 on the net. Newspapers picked the shit up 3 years later, and the Boondocks follows basically Black children from Chicago living in a white suburban neighborhood, serving a razor sharp political satire. And by his early 20s, Magruder had one of the hottest comic strips in the country. The Boondocks was adapted into a Peabody award-winning animated TV series from 2005 to 2014. Look, that's a long ass fucking run, bro.
Man, the Boondocks used to have everybody stop. Everybody stopped to go see what was going on that show when that came on. We was all in the basement watching it when it came on. I remember seeing the Boondocks on the Metro newspapers. They used to be in there inside of the comic section.
Showing your age, bro. Now you're showing your age, bro.
Talking about newspapers.
I love it, bro. But Magruder was definitely unapologetic in tackling race, politics, and pop culture. He brought the Black perspective and processing to daily comics in a way few had, right? And so he was part of the 1990s wave of young Black creators who used both traditional and new media. Again, using online and going to paper. Again, he bypassed the old gatekeepers, if you will, right? Using these new technologies. Again, this is why I tell people, stop being afraid of fucking technology. These are tools, and you gotta learn how to use these tools to bypass the gatekeepers. And let me tell you,
what we've been talking about, and it's even more wide open now than ever for any creator out there, man. You can link up with you can link up with writers. You can link up with artists. You can link up with colorists. You can link up with people that'll help you out and give you advice. The world is yours right now. Now is the time for indie. Get it in there. Do your thing.
Yo, talk about it, man. Yeah, be like my man right here, all right? Because his work showed the breadth of what Black comics could be, right? Not just superheroes, but biting social commentary that reach millions. Magruder's boldness influence other Black creators to be outspoken and use comics as the platform for activism and truth telling. All right. So again, a big shout out to the big homie right there. Now, going back just a tad, we spoke about my man's big partner right here, Larry Stroman, but this is the other half of that creative duo, Mr. Todd Johnson. Because again, let's go back to it. Tribe, number one, which sold over 1 million comics, right? Copies, making it one of the highest selling single issues ever by Black creators. And even though it was short-lived, it set record tables. I mean, Tribe's team remains a point of pride and challenge to the industry, and they prove that if marketed right, Black comics can be amazing bestsellers. And this is the other half of that creative squad. And as my man said, War of the World Comics, they're coming back with some new stuff. So hopefully it's the same creative team, because I got to see this.
And their story is awesome, man, because you got to remember the time that they in 93 and, like the mid-90s. This is not, Facebook social media era where you can, make a video and set it to market and reach 5 million people, and 1 million come back. This is a time when they was, stopping by locations in person and getting the word out and making this thing happen from the story that they told. But I would love for them to be able to come and tell their own story, because it's inspirational.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Talk about some inspiration, man. We got Ho Chi Anderson, a Black Canadian. All right, now we're getting some international right here. He's a Black Canadian comics creator known for the graphic novel King, which was published in 1993 into 2002, which is a biography of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in comics form. Nice. All right, King is considered a classic of graphic journalism biography, all right, lauded for its unflinching look at the civil rights movement. Anderson's work in the 90s broadened the scope of what Black stories and Black creators could tell. He brought a literary and artistic sensibility to historical subject matter, demonstrating that comics can handle serious Black history with sophistication. All right, so King and other indie projects by Black creators in this era, such as Kyle Baker's later Nat Turner, have helped establish the graphic novel as a medium for Black historical and political narratives. I really got to read that one, because the way they just broke this shit down, bro.
I wrote it down in my personal notes, man. I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, there's the stuff we're looking for. And now look at, man, come on. In the 2000s, bro, it brought mainstream breakthroughs, baby, and new audiences to the comic book world. Yes, the geek was no longer alone. The geek was no longer chastised. The geek was no longer pushed around. Let me tell you.
Outside.
Yeah, say that we here. Oh, so finally we went like from this, like, you get it now. Hey, I love it, bro. Let's get that. All right, so right here we have Reginald Hudlin, an acclaimed filmmaker. Now, I know y'all seen House Party or Boomerang, some shit. I'm fucking around, right? Now, my man actually crossed into comics, right? Hudlin took over Marvel's Black Panther series back in 2005. He brought a high-profile and fresh perspective, which reimagined T'Challa for the 21st century, and he introduced concepts like Shuri. All right, he introduced T'Challa's sister. So he wrote Black Panther from 2005 to 2008, including the popular Bride of the Black Panther arc. Basically, he was the one involved that got T'Challa married to Storm, baby.
Really?
Right? Yeah, bro. He was the one that made that happen. He said, T'Challa, you need to get into Storm's ass.
That's my fault, man. I got a bad habit of not reading the credits growing up. I ain't know you was the man, Reg. I'm sorry, man. Thank you, though. Appreciate you, man.
Right. He became the first Black man to helm Black Panther in a long-term capacity after Priest. So Priest was the first, and look at that. After Priest, yeah, we got my man over here to handle that. Now, Hudlin was also the driving force behind the 2010 Black Panther animated series on BET, bro. I mean, my man was he was eating up Black Panther everywhere. And then another thing is, right, under his pen, the comic became a top seller, right? The best-selling comic of the year back in 2005, Black Panther, right? And then he co-produced Milestone's revival back in the 2010s, and he wrote some Static Shock. So basically, his success has signaled the mark that marquee Black creatives could thrive at the big publishers, and he opened doors for other media figures like Ta-Nehisi Coates to write comics. Now, we're going to get to him a little bit, not even a little bit, next. All right? Is it Ta-Nehisi or Ta-Nehisi? Ta-Nehisi? Do you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's on Easy Code.
Oh,
Ta-Nehisi.
I'm not sure. I don't want to lie.
Yeah, I think. Well, forgive me if I'm mispronunciating, but my man is a journalist, right? And an author. He's known for his memoir and essays, Between the World and Me. But Coates, bro, he made a splash in comics when he was invited to write Marvel's Black Panther back in 2016. So this was the time where Marvel said, "Yo, let's step outside of typical comic book writers." And let's go into these, prose writers, these novelists, these journalists, and let's see what they could bring into the game and the narrative, in Marvel storytelling. I remember when he was put into the game because it was something different.
Got you. Fresh perspectives on something.
Yep.
Reinvent these IPs.
Exactly. So although in the 2010s, that was in the late 2010s, the planning and the announcement happened in 2015, right? So including in here in the influence spans late 2017, 2020, the Black Panther run went from 2016 to 2021. All right.
Nice
so it was a critical and commercial hit. Issue number 1. All right. And again, think about this. This is 2016. The market's slow. It sold over 300,000 copies in pre-orders, which is unprecedented for the character at the time. This is Black Panther. I mean, not for nothing, but not everybody felt Black Panther. No,
people were sleeping on them back then.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the truth. What it was, there was a lot of cool characters that people just fucking slept on for whatever reasons. We know the reasons, but let me not make this that spicy. But you get what it is. But guess what? Coates also penned Captain America from 2018 to 2021. Wait, he stays in the book. Right?
Right.
Basically, what he's done is brought literary prestige and a probing political voice to superhero comics. He explored themes of leadership, colonialism, and identity in Black Panther, effectively blending Afrocentric futurism with Marvel action. Now, his presence in Marvel was also symbolic for a period. He was one of only 2 Black writers at Marvel. We're talking about 2016. Do you hear this?
They had him
he was one of only 2 Black writers at Marvel at the time.
Indy.
I think that shit is crazy. So he demonstrated that when given control of a major Black icon, a Black writer can take it to new heights, and he definitely did. His run directly influenced the Black Panther's film, tone, and world building. All right. So even though Black Panther existed, in the 60s, a first run in the 70s, it was my man's run that definitely was the one that influenced the film.
Took it out to the stratosphere.
Right. And this man right here, let me tell you, when I went to New York Comic Con, this man's voice scared the shit out of me. I said, if I would hear you in a dark alley in New York, I ain't looking, I'm running. I don't give a fuck, bro. Cause he saw my Comic Crusaders shirt and he asked me, so it was really cool. He saw my logo. He said, "Yo, what's that about?" In his deep voice, I cannot emulate it because that's scary. But my man Kevin Grevio, I hope I say that right, is a Black writer actor with a background in microbiology. Yes, sir. When I say he's a geek, he's not just a comic book geek. I mean, he really is a geek. All right, my man's a scientist. Yep, and not just that. My man also co-created the Underworld series, yo. All right, those dope movies, and he also entered comics at Marvel, where he created the character Adam Brashear, aka Blue Marvel, which can be considered Marvel's Black Superman, if you will. Adam, Legend of the Blue Marvel, man. It's a powerful Black superhero that was retconned into Marvel history, whose series examined the 60s cultural racial climate and why a hero had to hide his race. Insane. I mean, just thinking of those concepts. And guess what? He also wrote New Warriors. All right. But let me tell you that Grevio's Blue Marvel added a layered Black hero to Marvel's roster, a Superman level powerhouse who had been hidden due to racism, unlike Sentry, who was hidden because there was mind wiped from people's reality, a demented white guy. So they hide a demented white guy from history, but the Black guy had to hide himself. Isn't that crazy when you think about that? If you think about the history of them, they coexisted at the same time. So I would kind of like to see a story like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, this was a dope story. I remember that book.
Yeah, bro. But with Rose's unique sci-fi horror sensibilities, of course, from Underworld, saw the benefit of bringing in Black creators from other media. He demonstrated that as a newcomer to comics, strong ideas could find a place enriching the universe with Black lore. And now you see how important, Blue Marvel is becoming within the Marvel mythos.
Deeply tied to it. I can't wait to see him. I hope they add him into the MCU one day, man. That guy.
They got to. They motherfucking have to. And please, don't hire
a Superman-like character in there.
Oh, yeah, we're getting Sentry, but we need somebody to beat Sentry's ass, and it has to be.
Yeah, now you gotta get the heavy hitters out. So you're right. I don't know how they're gonna handle. I don't know how the Thunderbolts gonna handle them, man. They might have to talk them down or something, make a bargain. I don't think they're going to head up with them.
I'm excited to see what happens here. And now here we got another one. Yeah, listen, when I go to conventions, this man has a line out the ass, bro. I mean, people line up to get my man Brian Stofries, Black artist who by the 2000 was one of the industry's top cover illustrators. He painted covers for dozens of titles, notably a long run on Batman, Shadow of the Bat back in the 90s. He returned to interiors as the artist for Coates Black Panther back in 2016. All right. So, man, he's been killing it. He has a stylish artwork on Black Panther that helped define the visual aesthetic of Wakanda for a newer generation, which complemented Coates' writing. And having a Black artist of his caliber on that book also underscored Marvel's commitment to authenticity in that relaunch. Stofries also mentors young artists and is a key figure in showing that Black artists can flourish in all aspects, not just on Black characters. His longevity and prominence in the field are an inspiration to many. Yeah, definitely. Anything he touches turns to gold. Anything. I mean, he does his thing. And again, I like maybe some more unfamiliar names, and I love these. Have you ever heard of Nyla Magruder?
Go ahead, hit me with it.
In 2016, Magruder became the first Black woman to write a Marvel comic.
A year with the Marvel's Wolverine one-shot.
Do you hear this, though? 2016, the first Black woman to write a Marvel comic. Wow.
That is amazing, man.
It really took
2016.
Bro. That number alone. But you know what? It was a milestone, and it reflects how late the big two were in hiring Black women. Right? Earlier in 2000, she gained fame for her webcomic, MFK, winning the Dwayne McDuffie Award for diversity in comics. She broke the barrier for Black female writers at Marvel. Successful Kickstarter and webcomic projects. She later wrote for Marvel Rising and children's books. Now, Magruder's entry into Marvel alongside Roxane Gay and Yona Harvey around the same time signaled belated progress and inclusion of Black women on the creative side. Her generation of creators is reaching audiences that both traditional comics and online platforms. Magruder and her peers illustrate the importance of webcomics, independent publishing, and nurturing a diverse talent that eventually does catch Marvel and DC's attention. But again, I come from the generation I don't beg to be in anybody's club, and if it takes you that fucking long to recognize my talent, there's a problem with you, not me.
Just do it yourself. Like Carla Merdano over on Concrete Comics has a great series called Luna, and there's a lot of other amazing female indie creators as well that deserve they shine and everything like that. But like indie, I mean, don't get me wrong, mainstream is the dream. These are the people that we grew up with. We love Spider-Man, we love Wolverine, we love Marvel bring, we love what DC bring, even like Image and everything like that, even though they're a little not quite the main kind of indie hybrids or whatever. We love all of those, but don't let waiting for those people to recognize you stop you from doing your own thing, because indie is the scene, and you can make your dreams come true here.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Indie is the wave. Now let's talk about waves, man, because the 2000s also had the rise of graphic novels for younger readers, the YA market. This included Black creators like Jerry Craft, who started with a comic strip in the 90s, publishing New Kid in 2019, which in 2020 became the first graphic novel to win the Newbery Medal. Look at that. So graphic novels only started winning awards 5 years ago.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So now with the 2010s came much more diverse storytellers and genre expansion. And we mentioned this name before, but this is Roxane Gay. She's a prominent Black feminist author. Now she Back in 2016, she became the first Black woman to be a lead writer at Marvel Comics when she penned Black Panther: World of Wakanda. Now, that series is co-written by a poet, Yona Harvey, focused on the Dora Milaje and spotlighted Black queer women breaking new ground in superhero comics. Now, Gay was the first Black female Marvel writer, which brought literary acclaim to comics, and which has continued to champion diversity in storytelling across media. Now, her involvement definitely did signal a turning point for representation behind the scenes, and she used this platform to tell intersectional Black stories rarely seen in superhero books. Again, love between two Black women warriors in Wakanda is an example. Now, her success and visibility proved that audiences and publishers were ready for more Black women creatives, and this opened the door for others. Nettie Okorafor, I hope I'm saying that right, N.K. Jemisin to enter comic writing. It also emphasized the value of authentic voices. The Dora Milaje story Gay told could have only been done justice by creators who understood the intersection of race and gender. Now, I think the Dora Milaje is fucking, they're dope. They're scary.
Oh, yeah, they're dope. But that's what we've been talking about all day, man. Even when we were talking about these guys that's out right now doing their thing, which, we pretty much caught up to date at this point of our history lesson. But, those authentic voices, those point of views and those lenses that from which we all see the world as individuals create opportunities for us to tell unique stories and great stories. So I'm here for all of it, man. I appreciate all of it. Everybody that's out there creating, if you're taking the time out to create a story and tell it, thank you from me to you, because we need you.
Ooh, yes. Now, I hope I'm saying this right. Nnedi Okorafor, a Nigerian-American science fiction novelist. And now, this is what I love. This is what I love. She brought Afrofuturism to comics. I'll say, what? So Okorafor wrote the Marvel miniseries Black Panther: Long Live the King back in 2018, and also the standalone Shuri series from 2018 to 2019, featuring, of course, T'Challa's genius sister. She also penned indie graphic novels, going to indie, La Guardia, which is a sci-fi immigration allegory that won an Eisner. Nice. Now, Okorafor introduced fresh Afrofuturist concepts into the Black Panther mythos, which won the Hugo and Eisner Awards in sci-fi and comics. I mean, she a boss. Okorafor's work blends African culture, speculative fiction, and social commentary, exemplifying the rich possibilities when Black creators shape genres like sci-fi fantasy. Now, in Shuri, she also expanded a beloved Black female character's role, pleasing fans of the movie who hunger for more of her. So internationally, Okorafor is one of the most notable voices connecting the African diaspora storytelling to mainstream comics, inspiring more creators from Africa or of African descent to contribute, unique perspectives. Man, when you bring me future stuff, future storytelling, Afrofuturism, and I've been reading a lot of stuff like that too.
Yeah, it's dope to see it like from a different perspective. Like you get like this cyberpunk thing with just like a different little twist to it to make it fresh and new, man. I love it, man. I absolutely.
Yeah. It brings something new to the game. And again, it's like Nigeria, what is going on in that country?
Nigeria getting busy, man. Nigeria is putting out some heat.
Yeah, I'm telling you, all over it. Not just the music, not just the beautiful women. But comic books, books, everything. I'm about to move to Nigeria. Y'all want to adopt? Right?
I believe you, man.
Yeah, man. I think my wife is over there. Yeah, let's go. Now, let's talk about another legend right here. And every time I hear his name, it reminds me of an old school brand of clothes called Walkerwear. David F. Walker, right here, bro. A Black writer who emerged strongly in the 2010s. Walker has written across multiple genres. Black exploitation homage in Shaft Comics, superheroes with Cyborg for DC, Power Man and Iron Fist for Marvel, and he's the creator-owned Afrocentric sci-fi, number 13. He co-created Bitterroot with Sanford Green and Chuck Brown. Okay. I mean, that's a fire-ass book, right? A supernatural comic about a Black family of monster hunters during the Harlem Renaissance. You hear that?
That's a dope concept, man. I think I got that book in the house, man. I didn't know it was an Eisner winner. I got to get a sign.
Oh, you better finish reading. That's what you need to do if you have it. Now, Walker is an Eisner winner for Bitterroot. Revitalized classic characters because his Shaft graphic novel also won a Glyph Award. All right. Walker has been on the forefront of blending Black history, culture, and genre fiction. Now, Bitterroot's success with the multiple Eisners and also a film option demonstrates the appetite for stories that mix horror, action, and real historical context, like the trauma of racism, if you will. So through Black lens. So by succeeding in both mainstream capes and independent projects, Walker shows that Black creators can shape all corners of comics, from reinventing Marvel heroes to creating entirely new mythologies. He's also been active in mentoring and uplifting other creators of color. So make sure if you see him at con, talk to him and ask him those questions. That's right, Eddie. Indy is the wave. Yo, come on, bro. Everybody do the wave right now.
Indy is the wave. Now I was looking up some information about those Glyph Awards, man. I keep mentioning the Eisners, but the Glyph Awards come from the East Coast Black Comic Book Convention, I think, which has been going on for, I think, well over 50 years. So that's a prestigious award also, and that's
All right, so that's the next thing that my man Alim is going for. He's gonna win one real soon with Sweep.
That's the dream, man. Trying to get myself a Glyph.
You getting it, bro.
And the Heroic Award too. I want them all. Give them all.
You want them all. What would be the opposite of the EGOTs for comics? Right? You know what I mean? An EGOT winner, Anyway, let's talk about it right here. Sanford Green. That's right. We just talked about that and mentioned Sanford Green and Chuck Brown. They're partners with Walker on Bitterroot. Now, Green's kinetic art on Bitterroot and Marvel titles like Power Man and Iron Fist, Brown's writing on Bitterroot and other indie comics, right? Along with Walker, they form a team that has shaped the horror genre in comics through an unapologetically Black lens. Bitterroot tackles monsters and metaphors for bigotry, a concept only creators with their background might have conceived. Its critical acclaim and awards underline how Black creators are reinvigorating genres like horror and fantasy and comics, not just contributing to superhero stories, folks. So Green and Brown have become role models for working collaboratively and succeeding outside the big two system. You heard it, folks. You fucking right. All right. That's both of them right there. That's Sanford and my man Chuck, right? And then we got Jerry Craft, a veteran cartoonist turned graphic novelist for children. Now, Craft made history with The New Kid back in 2019, which was a middle grade graphic novel about an African-American boy at a private school. Now, New Kid became the first graphic novel to win the Newbery Medal, one of literature's highest honors for children's books. Craft received the Newbery Medal and the Coretta Scott King Award from New Kid. Its sequel, Class Act, also became a bestseller. Now, Craft also created the comic strip Mama's Boys, which ran from the 1990s into the 2000s, which featured a Black family. Craft's triumph in new comics underscores how Black creators are expanding comics into new audiences, notably the YA market. Now, with authentic stories. Now, by winning major literary awards, he elevated the stature of graphic novels in education, improved their stories with Black protagonists and told by Black creators resonate broadly. Now, Craft also addresses the unique experiences of Black kids in his work, helping young readers of color see themselves and prompting meaningful discussions on race amongst all readers. His success is encouraging publishers to invest in diverse voices for the younger demographic. And let's go. That's right, because our kids need to read some good shit too.
That's right.
No, for real, bro. I mean,
yeah, they need it. We overlook kids a lot, man. With the trend for creative writing now is more towards, like
big kids,
mature
big
audience.
Kids. And I like to use the term big kids, 40 and over.
Yeah, you're right. So let's let the babies eat too, man.
yeah, right. Let the babies eat. Yeah, but salute to my man right there with again, doing things. And this is what I love. We're talking about all different types of things that they're doing collectively. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're doing everything here. We're doing everything here. And now also Spike Trotman, even though she don't follow Comic Crusaders because she blocked me though in the time of the comics gave just because someone tagged me on something that I had nothing to do with. But nonetheless, Spike, I still love you because I am about independent publishing, and Spike is a key figure in independent publishing. Spike is a black cartoonist who in the 2010s became a powerhouse publisher through crowdfunding. She was one of those early ones that knew how to change the game on crowdfunding. She founded Iron Circus Comics, which has published numerous graphic novels, offering queer and POC focus, and has raised over $1 million via Kickstarter. You heard that right, folks. She's raised $1 million on Kickstarter. Much respect. Spike pioneered Kickstarter as a platform of comics with her anthology, Smut Peddler, back in 2012. Yeah, what a title, right? Smut Peddler. There's some shit out the hood, Brooklyn, Queens. Like, yo, where's that smut dude at, yo? Right, the Smut Peddler's right there, son. You know what I mean? He published acclaimed works like The Banned Book Club and The Girl Who Married a Skull with African folklore comics. Spike Trotman's entrepreneurial success has proven the viability of indie comics by and about people of color. She's built a sustainable company outside the traditional system, giving many marginalized creators their first break. She be popping those cherries for these people out there that are trying to step their foot in their door. You know what I mean? So her motto has influenced how comics have reached niche audiences and showed that Black women can lead as publishers and not just as creators. Now, through Iron Circus, Spike has expanded the diversity of stories available in comics, from erotica to horror to memoir, and has been a vocal advocate for creative rights and fair pay. There we go. So, a big boss right there. Have you heard of Spike prior?
No, man. I'd be so removed from things, getting caught up with, like taking care of that. I don't have time to sit down enough and really immerse myself in it like I used to. And again, I probably read this stuff before, but I don't check out the credits, and I got to start doing. I got to do a better job.
You and me both.
My colleagues now.
My brother, there was a meme that came out that I saw that showed a whole bunch of actors and said, "You've seen all these people. I bet you can't name any of them. Out of that square of 16 people, I was only able to name 2." And I'm like, I do know the two, but fuck, I feel so bad.
I know your work. I know your work.
I know your character name, but I don't know your fucking real life name. That's horrible. Right. Horrible. I mean, and if we get into things, I met this man in New York Comic Con, bro, at a party when I met Jim Lee, Fireman. This man right here, he is an Oscar-winning screenwriter, 12 Years a Slave. I'm talking about John Ridley. Now, man, he has turned into comics in recent years. Now, Ridley has been writing high-profile projects that re-examine superhero universes. He authored what was one of my favorite, like oversized comic runs from the DC Black Label, The Other History of the DC Universe, back in 2021. It gives you the minority side of the story. I don't know if you've read that, but yo, we see the more
my list, man. More
color. Add the other history of the DC Universe. Add that to the list, all right?
Add it to the list. Got you.
Yeah, it's basically retell this DC's history through the eyes of its marginalized heroes, like Black Lightning and Mal Duncan. Now, he also wrote Black Panther back in 2021 to 2022 for Marvel. And guess what he did?
What's that?
He introduced the new Black Batman in Future State, Mr. Tim Fox in Batman, Future State, Batman. That was him.
That's what's up. I was following that run, man. See, I told you, I know your work. I know your work.
There you go. And check this out. You really gotta read The Other History of DC, because in 2022 it won the Eisner for Best Limited Series, and Ridley is one of those few Black writers that tackle A-list characters of both DC and Marvel. Now, Ridley's approach actively centers race in superhero narratives, asking how characters of color experience events differently. So a perspective really, explored in decades past, and in most comics anyway. So by doing so within DC's canon with that particular book, I just told you, he is effectively diversifying the narrative mythology. Now, his prominence also as a Hollywood writer signals that comics are attracting top Black talent from other media. So Ridley's work is basically, this is in the 2020s, it basically reflects a broader trend in the reclamation of Black creators reclaiming classic universes to tell new and inclusive stories. So I'm telling you,
comic books is so freeing, man. You can get so much done with that format. You can start right now and tell whatever story you want to tell within a few months and a little bit of effort, right? So you can't always do that inside of other mediums. So I can see why people are being attracted if they have something inside that they want to get out. this is a good place to be to do that.
Yep, absolutely. And again, folks, we're almost done. We're almost one. I'm gonna keep it much longer. We just want to break down a couple of these modern guys from right now, because again, for the modern time, this is Rita Ayala, basically significant modern writer who's gained prominence in the late 2010s, going into the 2020s. All right, they have written for DC, Static Season 1, which is rebooted Milestone. That's what that was. All right. Also wrote Nubia. Wrote for Marvel, for Morbius, Children of the Atom. Rita was the co-writer on the revival of Static Shock. Especially, she was a writer on Livewire for Valiant. I love Livewire, one of my favorite black characters, independent black characters. Love her. She was also one of the first series, which again, Livewire, this out, one of the first series to star a black woman in that universe. Okay. Are you aware who Livewire is? She basically controls technology. I love that.
Yeah. I got inside.
I was a technology guy, so she's basically made for me. And basically, Rita Ayala, as a queer, non-binary black creator, she represents the growing intersectional diversity in comics today, which often incorporates themes of identity, community, and social justice in their stories. By taking on legacy characters like Static and Nubia, all right, Ayala is helping to update and refresh them for modern audiences. Now, their presence also highlights the role of black women and non-binary creators in shaping comics' future, voices that were virtually unheard in earlier decades. So salute to Rita for making some waves. All right. Then, we talked about Nigeria before. We're going back to Nigeria. Revisiting Nigeria. Hopefully I say this right. Roye Okupe, a Nigerian writer-creator who founded Unique Studios. Now, I don't know if you read any Dark Horse, but I think they're the ones that fucking with Dark Horse right now. It's kind of an imprint within that. Okay. So Roye represents the international wave of black comic creators influencing the global scene. He self-published graphic novels in Nigeria, in the U.S., featuring African superheroes such as Malika, Warrior Queen, and EXO, the Legend of Wale Williams.
I got EXO inside of my box right now.
Oh, shit. There we go. That's the man right here. So by 2021, Okupe secured a groundbreaking deal with Dark Horse Comics to publish the Unique Universe line globally. Roye has built a connected African superhero universe from scratch. He leveraged Kickstarter to fund his projects. Dark Horse partnership to distribute his books widely, making him one of the first African creators with such a reach. You understand me? He's basically shining a light on Africa's contribution to comics. It's also going to shine a light on the African continent and what it has to offer when it comes to comic books. So Coupe said of his Dark Horse deal that he proves that there's a market for African-inspired stories told by African creators, and his success encourages major publishers to seek more original content from Black creators worldwide. Okupe's work often infuses Nigerian history and folklore into superhero tropes, enriching the genre with new cultural depth and appealing to readers in Africa, the diaspora, and beyond. Yeah, baby.
Absolutely, I agree with all of that, man. They absolutely have something huge coming out of there right now. Nigeria specifically, but Africa is a very big place, so I'm sure that there's more from a lot of other countries over there. But they are really cooking, man, and they got some great work coming out. What's the one? Ed, remember? Ed used to work with them. I don't want to say the wrong name, but they got some nice companies coming from out of there that are on par with anything that anybody else has been doing.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, folks, we're almost there. We got two more creators to get through right here, all right? And hopefully I pronounced this one right as well, because, we're getting those international folks, all right? So Marguerite Aboué, I hope, apologies if I'm saying it wrong, but Marguerite, I'm sure I got that right, is an Ivorian. Oh, my God. Ivorian. Oh my God, the last two are gonna mess me up, man. I didn't even smoke weed yet. So Marguerite Aboué is an Ivorian French writer whose graphic novel series Aya put African daily life on the comics map. Starting in 2005, Aya of Yopougon, Yopougon, drawn by Clement Aubrier, told warm, witty stories about a young woman in 1970s Ivory Coast. Oh, that's what Ivorian means. She's from the Ivory Coast. Okay. It won the Angoulême Prize for the best first album in 2006 and became an international hit, even adapted into an animated film. One of the most successful francophone African comic creators. Aya series won awards and sold widely, opening doors for more African narratives in European comics.
Nice.
Now, Abue's work offered a counter narrative to usual Western depictions of Africa by focusing on relatable, everyday experiences rather than war and trauma. Her successes inspired other African creators to use the medium to share authentic stories. Now, internationally, she's a prominent example of a Black woman conquering the graphic novel scene, influencing global readers and showing that Black creators can excel in any comic tradition, not just American superheroes. She helped normalize African settings in comics, which is part of a broader diversification of the medium's geography.
Yeah. That's what I love about it, man. I love when, we branch out into more, because comics, you can tell any kind of story you want with comic books. It's not always just superheroes.
Yes.
If superheroes is not your thing, there's still a story out there for you that you will absolutely love.
Alim, but how can we help the greater audience, if you will, understand that? Because, listen, for example, we talk to our parents, right?
Right.
Oh, doing comic books. Oh, comic books is for kids, and they mention superheroes and shit. And they don't understand.
But even all the superhero stories is not just for kids, man. It's not all just boom pow.
Yeah, but you gotta remember. Okay, at least look at my ass. I'm gonna be 49, so my parents grew up in a certain age of comic book storytelling, which is what was maybe a lot more innocent than what we get nowadays.
Yeah.
So they compare it to what was then. We know what it is. So I know if my daughter be something, but you talking to a dude that grew up during the independent fucking boom of the fucking 90s. So I know how graphic books could get. You know what I mean? So I come from different, but just for those stuck in that mindset, how would you approach a conversation with them and be like, yo, this is a lot more than just superheroes?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's important. For me, I'm a cartoon guy, so I enjoy animated series that these things sometimes come from, and that's the goal that I'm working towards. So it's easier for me to just sit somebody down and show them, like, this show that you're about to watch is on par with your Game of Thrones stories. It's on par, with Lost or whatever television entertainment has captured your attention, and sometimes has other layers and things going on with it than what's always apparent. But even for me, with the cartoons, like, it's 9 times out of 10 coming from a comic book or something like that. And, it's all walks of life, it's all stories, it's all lenses is present here. And, there's some award-winning stuff in here. And if you give it a chance, it'll open up your mind, and you can stop missing out on all these great experiences that people have made for you.
Gotcha. I gotcha. And folks, check this out. We have one more to go. I'm with you, Ali. We got one more to go. I know Ali's butt cheeks are probably numb right now, saying that for 2 hours.
I'm sweating like a motherfucker back here.
So last right here is Bobby Joseph. He's a Black British comic writer known for the 1990s urban satire comic Skank and characters like Black superhero Man or AA Man, Man, I guess. Right? Joseph made history. Joseph made history in 2023 by becoming the UK's Comics Laureate, the first person of color appointed to the role. All right. He pioneered Black British independent comics addressing Black UK life. Editor of Skank magazine and now an official ambassador of, comics in the UK. Joseph's work and recognition highlight the presence and contribution of Black creators in the UK comic scene. His humor comic Skank, which ran in the 90s, gave a voice to Black British youth and tackled issues like racism in Britain with biting comedy. As Comics Laureate, he advocates for comics in education and diversity in storytelling. His appointment signals the growing acknowledgement of Black creators in global comics industries. Joseph has influenced a new generation of Black British artists and writers who are now creating works that resonate both locally and internationally. So hopefully, folks, this is the last creator we're showing you today, but with the timeline that we've showed you of amazing and talented creators, I hope that you could see that there's a rich tapestry of Black comic book creators that have emerged across the decades. From the lone trailblazers who fought to be published in the 1930s through the 1960s, to the vanguard who integrated the mainstream in the 70s through the 80s, and to the innovators and entrepreneurs of the 90s through the 2000s who've opened new frontiers and finally to the global genre-spanning voices of the 2010s to present day. Each era built upon the sacrifices and triumphs of the previous, leading to an increasingly diverse comics landscape. And let me tell you, I was so happy to deep dive and learn. And there's so much more to learn out there because there are so many amazing creators and books out there. Because again, Alim is one of
more
those
than we have time to mention, man. There's a ton that I didn't get a chance to get to. People that deserve, a lot of praise, and I hope that we can do this again sometime.
Well, we will. I want to make this a monthly thing with you. If you could bring us all new projects, man, you hang out with me once a month.
Yeah,
and,
there's some dope stuff going on, man. I got to tell you about Blurred Station next time. I didn't get a chance to today. I don't want to tie anybody up. That deserves more than just a tail end mention. But there's
we're gonna do that. Listen, folks, if you like what you saw today, but we want to see more, listen, we'll bring some more like this. I know we're gonna do stuff like this, but I really enjoyed it. I like to take these and learn. Thank you.
This was nice, man. It's always fun for me to be able to show off all this cool shit that I know about that other people might not know about. So
excellent. And before we go, Alim, what's going on in the world of Sweet Pea, kiddo? I mean, what do you want to tell the fans? Because again, if you want to talk about some dope comics by dope black creators, Alim is one of them. So tell us what you got, baby.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. We got issue 3 is well underway. We're finishing up the artwork for it now, and the letters, that happens like that. So expect to be seeing issue 3 soon. Issue 4 is being written out right now. And new titles coming from Alter Ego Arts soon too. I got 4 or 5 titles in the works, but we'll save that for another podcast.
You said 4 or 5 titles. My man's keeping busy on some real shit. He ain't playing, baby. I love it. All right, with that, folks, I am Al Mega with the amazing Alim Leggett, Alter Ego Arts, baby. The creator Sweet Pea in the building. Hope you enjoyed this. You guys rock. I appreciate everybody that's still here. Yo, Big Ed Brown. Appreciate it, Tommy from World of World Comics. Again, that's another great podcast, folks. Check them out. I mean, everybody that tuned in, but thank you two guys, especially for being very much involved. May Adams, everybody.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You know what it is. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love. It's Mega. Wepa!